Many popular films today feature animals or otherworldly creatures as a main character. Behind these lifelike performances is a real human actor bringing an authenticity to these creatures that CGI can't replicate. These actors bring a specific physicality to a character and, on set, give a real performance that other actors can react to in real time. That performance then becomes the framework that post-production builds a fuller character around. These performances are captured using a green screen suit, a motion capture suit, or a blend of the two, with practical makeup and costumes. Here are 7 films that use creature performers in creative ways to elevate the story. Creature performer Terry Notary wore a mocap suit to capture his physicality as Buck the dog in The Call of the Wild. Having Notary on set giving a committed performance was said to help elevate the performances of the actors he shared a screen with. As a creature actor, Notary was more than just a stand-in. He often conferred with the director and other actors, working through shots and scenes with them. To train for the role, Notary filmed the movements of his own dogs and watched the footage in slow motion to understand how they walk. Actor Harrison Ford praised Notary's work, saying it was important to have someone to participate emotionally with on screen. For Disney's live-action Dumbo remake, the beloved baby elephant was completely in CGI. But to get believable character movements and emotion, creature performer Ed Osmond wore a specialized green suit to capture authentic movements and interactions with fellow actors. And for certain shots, a stunt performer stepped in. Osmond spent hours observing how elephants walk and trained himself to look believable while hunched over on all fours in stilts. Osmond also had to consider that this was a baby elephant, so movements had to be a bit less confident and more sporadic. To play the character, Osmond wore multiple different suits. First, a performance suit that looks like the character for actors to interact with. Then, there was the bare-bones Ant-Man costume used when Dumbo was running or walking around. Since Osmond's head was pointing down, a camera was mounted on the top of his head so he could see where he was going. In some instances, a more well-known actor will do their own creature performances. Fleabag star Phoebe Waller-Bridge did her on-set performance as L337, wearing a modified robot suit that was part practical and part green screen suit. As a uniquely funny performer, it needed to be Waller-Bridge on set alongside Donna Glover, who played Lando, to capture the right chemistry between the two characters. Her L337 performance was modified in post-production to look more like a robot, but kept the same physicality Waller-Bridge performed on set. Dozens of creature performers, including Andy Serkis and Terry Notary, wore modified mocap suits when performing as apes in the Planet of the Apes trilogy. Finding a way to deliver believable ape performances led production to Weta Studios. Using new technology at the time, 2011's Rise of the Planet of the Apes became the first production to do motion capture in a live-action setting. Then in 2014's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, they set up over 50 motion capture cameras throughout the sets, all sending the footage over Wi-Fi to remote servers so there were no wires to hide. Then in War of the Planet of the Apes, they pushed it even further by shooting motion capture in the snow, but creature performers walking on crutches instead of hands and having different gaits than real apes meant entire paths and footprint patterns had to be digitally recreated. Speaking of actor chemistry, Dan Stevens, who played the Beast in the Disney live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast, wore a Beast mocap suit to act alongside Emma Watson. It included stilts to be the proper height and weighed over 40 pounds. Stevens noted that the suit was particularly difficult to act in during the waltzing scene and said he feels lucky he didn't lose his balance and fall onto Watson. Not all creature performers are used as only a framework for CGI. In the instance of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, creature performers Javier Botet, Troy James, and Mark Steger all wore practical costumes that incorporated their specific body types and movements to bring the iconic monsters to life. The unique physicality of character actors was used for the movement of the on-screen monsters they played. The costumes were created with painstaking detail by Spectral Motion specifically to be on camera. Botet's costume even incorporated a slight green suit element for his character's big toe to be removed in post. Another instance where the character actor's performance was almost all practical is from Doug Jones in The Shape of Water. Jones, who's worked with director Guillermo del Toro on several films, including as Fawn in Pan's Labyrinth, played the amphibian man in a practical costume with elements of digital retouching added later, like blinking and micro gestures. Even the gills were practical, mechanically operated by puppeteers. The glowing bioluminescent aspects of the suit were also practical, using UV paint. Del Toro decided to have the amphibian character be practical because it was the main character and the story's emotional center. Therefore, Jones had to perform to give it the character's soul. What are some of your favorite movies with creature performers? Let us know down in the comments.